Hey everyone, welcome to Day Deal on Display. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Seidio Surface case for the Motorola DROID RAZR. You are more than welcome to check out the Surface over at its homepage at any time. That is going to be located at www.seidioonline.com. And of course, do not forget to check it out on our own homepage as well at www.daydeal.com. So let's go ahead and get things started here by giving you some tech specs for the Seidio Surface case on your DROID RAZR. Please keep in mind that these measurements that I'm about to show you are merely approximations. They're not 100% accurate. I want to give you guys an idea of what to expect when you actually own the Seidio Surface for your DROID RAZR phone. We are going to go ahead and start with the weight measurement, and that is going to be around 25.5 grams, pretty respectable. So it is a lightweight case for your DROID RAZR. And what is even more surprising is that the dimensions on the Seidio Surface, although they may not seem like it at first glance, is actually pretty slim on the phone. And here is proof in the pudding. So we are going to go ahead and measure the length first, all right? And that's actually going to be 133 millimeters, maybe 133 and a half, just to be safe. Moving on to the width of the Surface case. I'm going to measure it at the thickest part up here. That is going to be around 72.5 millimeters, maybe 72 and 3/4. And finally, at the thickest part, I'm going to measure the thickness of the case. Kind of sounds a little bit redundant, but you know what I'm getting at. That's where the camera is located. And that is going to be around 13.5 millimeters. So there you go, guys. Those are the dimensions of the Seidio Surface on the DROID RAZR. So let's go and move all these guys back into view and talk about this particular case further. Now the Seidio Surface is available in 3 colors. Unfortunately, I only have 3 of the 4 available. That's going to be black, sapphire blue, and amethyst, aka purple. The one color that we do have missing is garnet red. Now, just an FYI, if you're a long-term Seidio fan, garnet red is kind of like their newer color. It's a brighter version of their own red that they used to have, which they called burgundy. I guess a lot of people didn't really like that bloodshot red, so they now have garnet red, and that's just a little bit brighter, a little bit more popish, if you will, which kind of matches the blue and the amethyst. Okay, so there you go. Just some information your way. You're probably not going to see burgundy anymore in the future for their other products. Now, I want to mention that the Seidio Surface case can be used with their own custom-made belt clip holster. Okay, that is for sale separately as well as in a combo kit. You can buy the Seidio Surface in a combination kit, which includes the case as well as the holster in one. Okay, that saves you a couple of bucks because that MSRP is $49.95 for both of them, versus if you bought them each individually, it's $29.95 for each, as well, considering MSRP prices. Okay, and some of you guys have asked out there what exactly does MSRP stand for. I apologize ahead of time. Because it's an abbreviation we come across a lot, but MSRP stands for Manufacturer Suggested Retail Price. That is the price that the people who actually make the case suggest that people like us, resellers, actually advertise it for. Okay, we don't necessarily have to follow it. That's a different guideline called MAP, but nonetheless, that's the price that they suggest that, and we use that as a benchmark in how to price items. Okay, and everyone does that. So once again, some more FYI. Now, the Surface is a slider case, okay, which is kind of unusual for the DROID RAZR. We thought we would see a lot of back covers for this phone due to its profile. We understand a lot of people like to keep it as thin as possible, right? That's the whole idea of the phone. That's the whole allure of the RAZR. But having a slider case on there kind of caught us off guard, but nonetheless, it actually does work out quite well, and it actually fits the phone quite well as well, as you can see from the dimensions we gave you a little bit earlier. And one last closing thing to mention before I dive into the intricate details of the Surface. This particular case does not include any bonus items with it. Okay, that means no screen protector, no cleaning cloth, no instructions, no kickstand, no anything else of that sort. You just literally get the case. And if you buy the combo kit, you get the case and the holster, but that is it. All right. So let's go ahead and use the, you know what, I haven't used sapphire blue in a long time. Let's go and use this bad boy to demonstrate the Surface for you inside and out. Now, since this is a slider case, obviously there are 2 pieces to it, a top and a bottom piece. The bottom piece is always larger, regardless of whatever phone it's made for. Okay. On the inside of the bottom piece, you're going to notice a lining of microfiber / suede material. Okay, this is supposed to keep the phone nice and scratch free, at least its rear anyway, but more importantly, it does add some extra cushion to the case as well should you happen to drop it inside the Seidio Surface. All right. Now, in order for you to remove the two pieces, you're just going to go ahead and press down on that little slide key right here. Okay, I call it a key because that's the best term I can think of. Some other people call it a wedge, which would also kind of make sense. But nonetheless, you have to press down here, and then that removes or helps you remove the top piece. Okay, and it kind of makes sense as you look at it from this angle right here. So once you remove the two pieces, everything is pretty self-explanatory. So I'm not going to go into too much detail until I actually put it on the dummy phone in just a moment. The textured finish on the back of the Seidio Surface has a matte-like appearance to it. Okay, it's a soft, touched, rubberized type of finish. I'm going to be trying to be more descriptive of this in the future in other videos, but it's not rubber. Okay, guys, it's not. It's plastic at its core. It's polycarbonate at its core, but it has a coating that's very similar to rubber. Okay, and the more you use the case, eventually it starts wearing down, but you can actually see that material underneath, and it's kind of funky. It's really hard to explain. It's almost kind of like a spray-on bed liner, if you will, for trucks. I don't know how many people are going to get that reference, but it's just a funky type of material that's just coated on, but it does actually feel like rubber a lot when you actually hold it in your hands. Okay, so in other words, it's pretty soft. It feels good. It has a nice grip to it, and it even is a little bit plush if you squeeze down on it. And it's just a nice type of thing to have on protector cases rather than them being glossy. So let's go and put this onto our Droid RAZR right here. Slide it in, okay? Very easy to install. And the nice thing about slider cases is that you can never really do it a wrong way, I should say, because everything is guided to you along these rails along the side. And this is how the Seidio Surface looks on the Droid RAZR. Now, I want to emphasize that this case, remember, only weighs 25.5 grams, which is very respectable. And its profile is actually pretty thin. So do not mistaken the Seidio Surface case as a bulky cover on the Droid RAZR. This is actually one of the thinner cases we've seen on the Droid RAZR, and it really adheres to the overall profile of the phone, as you can see right here. Okay, except for this kind of area at the bottom of the bulge and connecting to the battery door. This is a little bit big, but the rest of the cover actually adheres to the phone quite well. It's actually quite slimming, so we think that looks attractive and adheres to the original design of the Droid RAZR. Nonetheless, you can see that the Seidio Surface does create a nice little lip for the front of the phone, not the largest one we've seen, but it is adequate enough where if you happen to rest your phone, okay, on its face like so, our universal example, the phone is still going to be up and elevated away from the surface you're resting it against. Of course, if you happen to drop your phone, do not expect that lip to catch much of an impact because it is very narrow and it's also very thin. See how much of that black bezeled edge area is still exposed. But if you're lucky, the lip will catch the impact. If you're not, then your screen is going to have to deal with it. So we would say that it's nice to have it there, but don't depend on that in protecting your phone. This one is just a little bit too small on the Seidio Surface, okay? But it is a thin cover after all. Moving on to the top, you can see an opening for the HDMI as well as the USB port. No surprises there. Should accommodate all OEM tips. Third party, we're not too sure, but if we do it one at a time, that should be a-okay. The audio jack is pretty much fully exposed, so all type of connector tips will work out just fine. Nothing much to talk about on this side. I do want to note, however, that the micro SD card slot is blocked on the Seidio Surface, so if you need to access that a lot, this is definitely not for you, okay? It's completely blocked off, all right? Moving on to the other side, we have an opening for the volume up and down rocker switch as well as the camera button, okay? No surprises there. Should be easy to press. The opening is quite large. On the back, you have an opening for that mysterious microphone, okay? I'm not too sure if it's a noise cancellation or the actual microphone itself, so there you go. And then showing you the individual cutouts, one for the camera lens, the LED flash, and the built-in speaker. And that is it, guys, for the Seidio Surface case for your Motorola Droid RAZR. So remember, this comes in one more color, that is garnet red. Feel free to check that out at the official site and see what it's all about. It's a very beautiful color. It's a lot brighter than the burgundy, and we really like that change. Remember that this also comes with a belt clip holster that you can buy separately, meaning that you can use it with the belt clip holster. And you can also buy in a combo kit to save you a couple of bucks at the get-go. And this is another one of those light-duty thin cases for the Motorola Droid RAZR, okay? So I know Seidio doesn't really actually get that much love out there. Some people even consider them to be high quality aftermarket, which is kind of like a hidden insult, but I really like what I see in this particular product for the Droid RAZR because once again, it really kind of adheres to the overall profile of the phone, and a lot of people who have really bulky cases for the Droid RAZR may be kind of missing the whole point. That's just my personal opinion. So check this out at SeidioOnline.com. Check this out on our own website at Dadio.com. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, etc., all that jazz. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next video.